Hello, good afternoon. How are you all enjoying Acellus World so far? All right, well, we are very excited for this next session. Our speaker of this session is a co-host of Science Live, as she is the instructor of our Acellus courses on emotional intelligence, where she has reached millions of Acellus students. Please welcome Dr. Pajet Monet.
So I was expecting 3 of you, so I'll pick which 3 I'm going to talk to. Welcome, welcome, and welcome to this event at Acellus World. I feel like I'm at an unfair advantage because a lot of you know my face and I don't know yours. And yet, through those classes I have taught, I may get a little emotional here. I have sincerely tried to find you. To find every student that may need just a little lift. And I feel like I personally could help somehow. And I also felt like you were personally my student. And though I couldn't see you, I was talking directly to you because I have found that there is something that got put inside of me, which I didn't know at the time, but I innately care. I innately care about you, every single one of you. And I'm talking to the parents too. I didn't get to do a parent course, but I am talking to the parents of the beautiful students that I get to talk to. We, Pajet, and some people who are inspiring her are putting together a movement. And at this Acellus World, we're going to launch it. And it's been a dream of mine for many, many, many years. So I want to start with a question. Have any of you ever had a bad day? Just a little bad day. We all have. We all have had that day when something just didn't go right. So let me now ask you another question. How many of you had a day that started out completely, you had it, you had in your mind what it was going to be like, how are you going to be, and then for those who drink coffee, the coffee spilled. For those who put makeup on, the mascara went on wrong. For those who had their dress absolutely ready for that event, something spilled on it. What do you do? And I'm going to tell you, I've had a lot of those days, and when those days happen, you get to decide. And you decide, are you going to laugh? Are you going to cry? Are you going to curse? Or are you going to say whatever you shouldn't say? Or are you going to say, okay, it's one of those days. And there is magic in every single one of you. You may not believe it, but for some reason, our bodies were built with this little thing called a smile. That smile does something to somebody at just the right time. Even if you don't feel like smiling. You get up in the morning and it's just, I don't feel like it. Somehow your body doesn't fit right. You get out of bed and it's like you have to put on your body and it's like, it's not fitting right. Well, smile. Smile at yourself. And then when you have that moment where you see somebody who you can just feel they might need a little smile at them. And they're going to look at you like, what are you smiling about? You making fun of me? And they will. But that smile will go a long, long ways. And it will change their day. And when you change that person's day, then you change somebody else's day, because that goes on and on and on. Somebody who needs just a little, it's going to be okay. And you don't even have to say it. You just feel it. And that is magic. In the animal kingdom, all the animals seem to know who their pack is. All the animals seem to know that, we're together. This is us. Well, in the humankind kingdom, we seem to think that we have to keep our distance because everybody needs their space. But you know what? We're all connected. We are all literally connected, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about. We were not, and you say, what is she talking about? So we were not here on this earth. We were not put on this earth to drag ourselves through the days. That's not what we were here for. We're not here to just survive. And sometimes it feels like we are. Sometimes it feels like we don't know what we're doing here. We don't know why. We don't know what. And we're just going through those days. But we're not here to just survive. We are here to shine. We are here to make a difference. And it is a life-changing attitude when you start finding that. When I was a very little girl, I wanted to make a difference somehow. I really wanted to. And I wondered what I would be when I grew up. And I'll tell you what, I did not think I would be instructing social-emotional learning or emotional intelligence. But when I got challenged with that, especially a couple of years later, when I started seeing faces that I had touched, faces that I had somehow made a difference in their lives, I realized that my little dream when I was a little girl was coming to fruition. And I had no idea that I could make a difference in somebody's life like that. I thought, well, this is one of those courses in Acellus that, they're going to maybe take it or they're not. But I didn't realize that some of you who took it, it made a difference for. And that has given me more joy and more fulfillment than I could have ever imagined. And you know my name. My name is Pajet Monet. And I'm part of something that I want to share with you. And I call it the FireAngel Movement. And this is the part that I have been dreaming about, wanting to make happen. And I call it a movement because it starts small. It starts with that one smile. It starts with that one wink to somebody like, you got this. I know you can do it. Belief in somebody changes everything. Belief that somebody can do it empowers the other person to really realize, you know what, I think I can. So inside of those two words, FireAngel, it means something. That fire is the intensity. That fire is the flame of what I like to call the belief or devotion to the Creator. We were all created, and everybody can choose their own creator, but look at us. We have bodies, we have minds, we have abilities. That doesn't just happen. That doesn't just fall from the sky and say, here you are, guys. No, we were made, we were created. And that blaze in your chest, when you realize that you are alive right now and you are right here spinning on this blue planet to do something in a universe so vast, we can barely speak of it. This universe is amazing. And somehow, against all odds, we are here. And the angel part, and I'm talking about guys and girls and men and women, I'm talking about all of us. That angel part is that elevated way of living. And when you start living that way, the choice, and the choice, what is that choice? It's to make this world a better place. Within your circle, to make everyone within your immediate vicinity and circle to lift it up. Because I want you to consider one thing. We are, you may laugh, so what is she talking about? We are the welcoming committee to planet Earth. You know, Elon Musk was talking about aliens and they may be coming down. Well, if they come down to this Earth, we want them to say, Now that is the place I want to be. And they're going to find one of you and say, my goodness, have you met that person? They've got it going. They've got the whole package. They've got the fire. They've got the realization that they can make a difference. They have the caring. They have the ability to make things happen. So every soul arriving here, I'm talking about babies, I'm talking about others, I'm talking about making this world wonderful for everybody here. So when they come here and say, you know what, that planet Earth, that's where I want to be. That's exactly where I want to be. And if I may say right now, we're doing a pretty mediocre job. We really are. We're doing a mediocre job. And if anybody doesn't know what mediocre means, that means we're not doing very well. That means that we could be doing better. That means we have to get out of ourselves and start realizing, wait a minute, it's up to us. We can do it. And I want to tell you a story. This is a story you've probably heard of before. And it's about perspective. There was a man, and he was traveling, and he pulled into a very small town. And with that pulling into the town, he was pretty beat up by life. And he rolled his window down to a guy at a gas station, and he asked this old man, "Sir, what kind of town is this?" And the guy asked him, "So what kind of town did you come from?" And the guy said, "You know what? I came from the most awful town in the world. I came from a town where people do not care about anybody, where everyone is so selfish, where it is it's just a terrible place. That's why I left. That's exactly why I left." And that old man looked at him and said, "You know what? I'm sorry to say, that's the kind of town this is." A little while later, a lady drove into the same town where the same gentleman was sitting there, that old man, and she had so much on her mind. Her life had been rooted up. She didn't know exactly where she was going, and she was going somewhere, and she was trying to find a place to land. And she asked this old guy, "Sir, what kind of town is this? I really want to know." And he said, "What kind of town did you come from?" And she said, "I came from the most amazing place. I came from the most beautiful town. I came from the town that people care for each other. I came from a town that people really, really make a difference, where they care about their town, where they clean it up, where they look out for everybody who is in need." And that old man looked up at her and said, "Well, I'd like to tell you that that's exactly what this town is like." Perspective, what you carry with you, whether we like it or not, stays right with us, and we plant it right in front of us. Right in front of us. It is all the attitude of how you carry life. And that's really, really important to hear. If you realize that how you're carrying life is going to impact your next step, it's going to impact how you interact with somebody else, the grudge you have on your shoulder, the anger you're feeling inside, the disappointment that you are literally carrying and you don't think you're carrying, I want you to stop and find one feeling that we all have of something that's going a little bit wrong in our lives. Unless you guys all have it made, unless you guys are all happy, unless you guys all have it perfect, something that's just kind of bothering you. I found mine. And as much as I don't want it to be there, it's there. But how I look at that is going to change how I interact. It's not going to make it so I'm going to lash out at someone, so I'm not going to be mean to someone because I'm carrying this little burden. And I'm not saying there aren't going to be burdens. That would be a complete lie. This life is all about ups and downs and joys and hurts and pains and disappointments. But how you wrap them up and how you carry them changes everything. You hold it here, you don't hold it completely inside of you where you have to swallow hard every time to talk to somebody. You have it in its place. So I want to share a little secret with you. And it's that fire angel secret. And that is, once you realize that, you stop being a passenger in your own life. You stop being the victim in your own life. You stop saying, well, I am because somebody made me. I am because this is what happened. No, you are because of what you choose. And when you realize that you have the reins of your life, you start steering your life exactly where you want it. Yes, we're going to have intense passions, hurts and desires and joys. I mean, if you don't feel, then you're not alive. And being alive is an amazing gift, even when you get hurt. The fact that you can feel pain says your body is working. The fact that you can experience all those discomforts, that means that you are alive. The fact that you can feel joy, the fact that you can be so grateful when your students graduate, the fact that you can be so grateful when something happens that's incredible. Wow. We have the gift of being able to feel. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, but sometimes it's just amazing. So once you realize that you are the driver in your life, that you are not a passenger, you become a force. And a force is where you have a direction and you have movement and you make things happen. So as soon as Pajet walks into the room, she is going to impact somebody. As soon as you walk into the room, you are going to impact somebody. And you think, well, that's not true. Whether you realize it or not, whether you smile or not, whether you're down and all inside yourself, you are impacting somebody. You think you're not, but everybody notices it and everybody sees it. We just don't say it. But everybody, oh my goodness, if we could open the box for a minute and put speakers on everybody's thoughts right now, we would have a world of shock. We would find out that there is somebody that is really, really, really excited about graduation. We would find out that somebody is really, really nervous. We would find out so many things. We'd find out that somebody is holding intense feelings of hurt. We would find out so many things. And whether we open that box or not, which I'm going to be very private, I'm not going to. Otherwise I say, guess what? Guess what? But we are not that different. We are not that different. We have a lot of the same hurts and feelings, joys and pains. It's like those eggs. When you crack them open, you know, the yolks all look the same. They may have different colors and different shapes in those shells, but I'm not saying we're eggs, but we're pretty close to it. You crack us open and we have all the same feelings inside. But how you deal with them, how you become that force, when you choose, and it's a literal choice, you take yourself and you say, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And when you talk straight to yourself, that's sometimes the hardest talk in life. I don't know if anybody ever had to sit inside Paget's mind when she gives herself a little, it's not comfortable, but it's necessary. So, are you going to become a force? Are you going to make a difference? And if so, then that's where I get to invite you to be part of the FireAngel Movement. Now, there is a spectacular insect, and it's the Monarch butterfly. I see so much symbolism in that little package, in that little teeny package that weighs less than a paperclip. You probably grew up knowing about them. You have the caterpillar, you have the butterfly, you have the chrysalis, you have the whole cycle. And we have all those moments where we've looked at them in nature, we look at that. But if we move on and go a little bit deeper into it, you'll find that it's an amazing thing. That butterfly starts out as a caterpillar. That butterfly starts out as a caterpillar. And what do caterpillars do? They eat. They crawl on their bellies and they munch, munch, munch. They destroy the plants that they are eating. If you've ever seen a milkweed that has been deliciously eaten by a caterpillar, it is nothing when it's over. It's just little stems. And it chomps, it eats, it thinks about nothing but itself. It just knows that that's its purpose. And then in that one moment, it stops eating. And it finds a very quiet place. And it wraps itself up in silence. And it does it by itself. And inside that chrysalis, when it wraps itself up, and this is the part that takes my breath away. Inside that chrysalis, the caterpillar doesn't just grow wings. It becomes something almost like liquid. It dissolves, it becomes raw. It surrenders what it was. It surrenders the body that it built. It surrenders the appetite that drove it. It surrenders the blindness of crawling on its belly the whole time. And then through that very slow, and I'm assuming painfully slow experience and process, it is rebuilt. It is literally rebuilt as it is hanging there in that chrysalis. Now there's something that you may know or you don't know, but on the outside of that chrysalis, there are 12 gold dots. And they call those the diadem. And around that is like a crown. That's what a diadem is, like a crown. And if you think about it, I can't help but be fascinated by the number 12. And it reminds me of the story long ago of those 12 men who followed a certain carpenter. But 12 gold dots around the top. And as it's forming itself, those dots are there to be beautiful, yes, but they have other purposes. And then when it's time, then something happens. And something amazing happens. And that's what happens when what we call in the old writ, in the old books, people who go through those hard times, through those hard things, they become like gold. And it's like they are refined. And it is amazing. And that is exactly what is happening to us. Through this life, if you think about it, through this life, we are going through moments and we are changing and we are becoming, if we choose, through those hard times, through those bitter times, through those difficult times, we are choosing to become better. We are choosing to become more beautiful. We are choosing to become like gold. And that's, every one of us in this room is at some point in that journey. Whether it's the caterpillar, whether it's in the chrysalis, whether it's becoming out as the butterfly. And the chrysalis is dark. It's hanging there. And I'm sure at some point in time that caterpillars may think, if I were, and I would think, I changed my mind. You know, this is taking too long. I changed my mind. This is uncomfortable. I don't know what's happening to me, and I don't know why it's happening to me. And there are moments in our lives where we have that. I don't know why. I don't know why it's so hard. I don't know why. And that part, that trusting part, is what makes it amazing. Because when you trust that process, then miracles happen. And do I believe in miracles? I do. I think there are so many stories in people's lives that have been shared with me, even through Acellus, of how Acellus is changing, how Acellus helped them, that I would consider miracles. And prayers that have been answered. And some of you have already pushed your wings out into that air. Some of you have already come out of that chrysalis, and you are flying. And if you are just barely coming out of that moment, then you may be learning how to fly awkwardly, but you are still learning how to fly. You are still doing it. And when you realize that, wait a minute, I can feel the air against my wings. Wait a minute, I am not, could it be that I am not like I was? Could it be that I am not on the ground anymore? Wait a minute, I have wings. I have wings, and I can fly. That is what happens when you start finding this kind of living and not the bottom. That's what happens when you realize that inside every single one of you, you have the potential to fly. And I'm talking about fly with making differences in this world, making things happen, impacting people's lives. And I would like to go down to every single one of you and say, so tell me what your story is. And when you start telling me your story, you may be surprised to realize what an amazing life you have, what a difference you've made in somebody's life. And I wish I could. And I may do that. I may just come right down and say, okay, tell me your story, because I want to hear. I want to hear. Now, part of what I want to finish up with is making you realize that there is something I really would like you to be a part of. And that is what I call the FireAngel thing. And at that moment, when you decide, okay, I'm going to stop crawling, I am going to start living. And the thing is, when you decide that, it's hard. Because you have to move aside from where you were. You have to let go of things. You have to decide that number one is not about you anymore. It's not about you anymore. Well, those are my feelings, and I want that. And it's not about you. It is, but it's not. It's about, well, maybe this person needs me more than I need to do that right now. Maybe I can give a little bit more right now. Maybe I can volunteer. Maybe I can make just a difference. And I believe when you really, really feel that, then it makes a difference. Now, those monarch butterflies have something else. They travel from Canada all the way down to Mexico. And it's not the same butterfly that starts up here that goes down to Mexico. It is generations. And how do they know? How do they know where their path is? And it's inside them. It is built inside of them. And that is amazing. So if I want to take that analogy and go further, so if we are like butterflies, and there are strong ones too, so guys and girls, but if there is something inherently built inside of us, then what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I think the same creator who made those made us, and in our bones, and butterflies don't have bones, but in our bones, we have a path that we know and we feel. And everybody's path is different, because that is the way, that's the beauty of this earth. I think that you will find that when you start living for something more than yourselves, that you'll start finding your path. Some people call it serendipity. Some people call it coincidence. Some people call it fate. There are a lot of different terms and names for a lot of things. But when you start looking and seeing how you can make a difference, somehow, and this is from personal experience, somehow things start lining up. Somehow you start noticing that things are lining up for you. And example, when I was taking my walk today, which I take a walk every day, and I breathe outside, and there's that butterfly that just floats by. Was that an accident, or was it for me? And I don't care if anybody else says, well, it was just flying by. I said, thank you. That butterfly I saw today was for me. And when you start taking those things personally, when you start taking those little things as gifts, and whether or not they were for you, when you realize, well, they can be. They absolutely can be. Then you start seeing life differently. When that bird sings in the tree and you walk by, you say, thank you. When the sky is raining and you absolutely feel it, say thank you. Let yourselves be vulnerable. And that is one of the hardest things in this life to be, because we have our guard up because everybody's out to get us, but not really. Let yourselves enjoy life. When you start breathing, when you start learning how to say, wow, when you start looking up and seeing the amazing creation that we live on and looking down, it is amazing. And let those little sweet moments be signs to you that you are loved. And when you start feeling that and you start knowing that, then you walk a little differently. Then you start saying, wow, this is an amazing place. This is an amazing place. And you start finding that you have a little more love inside you. You have a little more caring inside you because somebody loves you. And that I want to leave you with. What does it really look like? What does it really look like? What does a fire angel do on Tuesday morning? Now it gets real. And the alarm goes off and the dog needs to go outside and you're just feeling like not doing it. What does it look like? And you're feeling like a real piece of work. You know, there are those days. It's when you hold your phone up and your phone says, face not recognized. You think, what the heck? Now, if nobody's had that and it's just me, then, you can tell them what kind of mornings I have, but it has happened. It's like, oh, I look that bad today. Thank you. And then you fix it, and it's like, okay, you come on, stop messing with me. I get the message. But what does it look like? What does a fire angel do? Well, we don't have bad days anymore. Now that's going to be hard for some of you because some of you are inside your heads and you know that you have bad days. And I mean that seriously. You know it. There are bad days. Fire angels don't have bad days. They have good days and they have training days. The training day is a day where you put on that shirt to let everybody know you're in a training day. That is the day when things aren't going quite right and you are going to use your mental and your physical muscles to get through it. It's the day that if anybody looks at you with an askance look, they should be warned because you are wearing that shirt. It's a training day. And that means beware. And it would be nice, I think, if we could have some of those shirts because we would get along much better and we'd get our feelings a lot less hurt. But everybody has those days. And when you say, well, I'm having a bad day, all of a sudden you have an attitude that something is negative, something is wrong, and it's not true. Something is happening, and you are acquiring the ability to live tomorrow better. You are acquiring the ability to say, okay, I need to stretch those muscles, those mental muscles I have, and I need to rip them just a little bit so they become stronger. And that's really what happens with muscles. When you really work out, you put these little tears inside of them, and when they heal, they get bigger and they get stronger. And that's the same thing with our attitudes and with our days. So no more bad days. No more bad days, just training days. And so when you show up and those days come, don't be mad at them. Don't swear at them. Don't curse them. You can be fiery with, it's one of those days, but don't be mad at it. Second, we smile. When you don't feel like it, when something just plain wrong, you smile. And you smile at yourselves. Guys, you've got to lighten up. You've got to lighten up. If you don't, then you're going to have one of those lives where you feel like somebody has their hand on your head the whole lifetime, and you walk around like this, but you don't have to. You do not have to. And when you know that, and you feel like that, you say, hey, get off my back. And even if you have to say it quietly to whatever feeling is on your head and on your back, say it. Excuse me. Excuse me, this is my life. This is my life. and you own it. This is my life. Go away. And it's those pressures, those negative feelings, just get rid of them. You don't have to have them. You just don't. And when you see somebody going through one of those training days, understand. Oh, I know what they're going through. Mine was yesterday. I know exactly what that was like. Mine was yesterday. Theirs is today. So give them some grace. Give them some support. Say, you know what? You're going to make it through it. And when we start doing that for others, when we start caring, when we start understanding that everybody has good days and everybody has training days, then you start giving somebody something that they need. And when you do that, and you do your kids, and when your kids do it with your parents, it goes both ways. The parents actually carry more than we could ever understand. And hats off to them and the grandparents. When you grow up, you understand, wow, I had no idea what a brat I was to my mother. When you get your own. And then you say, thank you. Thank you for what you did for me. And gratitude is one of the magical, magical things about life. When you are grateful for those training days, it changes them. When you are really grateful for who made you, it changes you. When you're grateful for the sun and the sky and the stars and the moons and the butterflies and the birds and everything wonderful, it changes life. And it's like it puts color back into it. And this life is so colorful and it's so beautiful. I wish I could let you see what this life is through my eyes. I say, wow, I had no idea. I had no idea. So I'm trying to. So those little moments, when you're grocery shopping and you just see that cashier going through and you can tell something's wrong and she's a little grouchy. True story. 2 days ago, I went grocery shopping, and there was a lady there who was checking me out, and she's probably about 65 years old, and she was just really quiet and a little down and a little annoyed. And after I was all done, I looked at her. I said, "How are you doing?" And she looked at me and she said, "You know what? I'm in a lot of pain. My hip is really hurting me." And I said, "It's probably because it's spring outside and it's cold and the sun is shining and it's all messed up." And she laughed and she said, "You know what? I think you might be right." And then that moment of laughter changed her life and it changed my life. And it was just that little, it wasn't big. Guys, it wasn't big, but it was understanding, and it was just, and it impacted me more than her probably. I'm talking about that, those little moments where you can tell something's not quite right, and you just give just a little bit. And when we all start doing that, then this planet becomes the place where we all want to be, and it becomes beautiful. Now, fourth thing, you know those trees that are in the wind? Did you know that if they don't bend, then they break? Those branches that go right off. Who has opinions in this room? I want to see a raise of hands. It's only that many? I have 5. I have at least 5. Yeah. I want you guys to have at least 3 opinions, and I want you to change them. I want you to change them often. If you find something that goes against your opinion, listen. And if there's anything that would make you need to change your opinion because you found out something different, be willing to. Be willing to. Those branches that cannot bend, break. And people who cannot adjust, break too. They become stiff. A stiff person who cannot change is going to break somehow, somewhere, at some time. And realize that. Yes, have opinions. If we don't have opinions, then we are dead. We are not living. But be willing to say, okay, that's not my opinion anymore. I have that, and I do that all the time. Anybody who knows me knows I have many opinions, and I will change. If I really feel it, I will stick to it. But if I see something different, I will change. So be like that branch. Be willing to change. And a lot of disagreements that would happen would be gone. And that pride that's my opinion, and those are my feelings, they would just go away. So, and that also makes it so you can start enjoying each other. I want to know what he feels about something. It may not be the same thing I feel about it, but if it's something that I want to know about, and if it's his feelings, then I definitely want to learn. I want to learn what people feel. I want to learn what makes people tick. I want to learn what makes people happy. I want to become enlivened because I get to be with a society of beautiful people. And I like beautiful people. I like good people. I like opinionate people, and I love passionate people. I like people who are alive. And yeah, we may clash opinions, but my goodness, we're going to do it respectfully. And we're going to have fun doing it. And we may even end up on the same ground. And if we could do that on this earth, it would become so much better. It'd become incredible. Now the big one, the fifth one. We need to remember whose team we're on. We are a force for good. That's what fire angels are. We are a force for good. We are a vector. So a vector is a force with a direction. And what are we doing? We are lifting this world. We are lifting somebody's life with a smile. We are connecting and saying, I see you. And I'm grateful that I can see you. I'm grateful I have eyes that can see. I've learned a lot of things. I've lived a lot of life. I've gone around the block many times. And it has given me a lot of insight to how things are. And people say, well, you have it all made. Yeah, well, I chose to have it all made. And there are a lot of stories that I could tell that would shock you because I've gone down certain blocks. And we all have. We all have. So to judge and say, well, somebody doesn't know, well, they may know, they're just more wise and they know how to carry themselves differently because of it. There is a feeling that I have felt and that I have experienced, and I want to encourage you to do it as well. And that feeling is when you decide to give to someone. When you decide to volunteer, not because you're made to, not because you're asked to, but you want to do something because you just feel it. That is the lift. That is what lifts those wings that we have but you can't see. That is what makes us do incredible things. When you feel that feeling, when you do something. For example, people who serve in the military or in the armed forces or in the police force, people who do it because they want to make a difference, because they care, because they are willing to sacrifice for something, it does something to them and it does something to us. But when you really feel that feeling, you're not touching the ground as much. It just lifts you a little bit. When you look at somebody and say, you know what, I can help. Just because, not because, it's just because it makes this world wonderful. And it makes your life have purpose. And purpose drives us. Purpose gives us a reason why. And it's really incredible. So I just think that if you could catch and find the feeling of what we're doing here and why we're doing it, that maybe this one session at Acellus World would be the one that said, you know what, I'm going to take my life by the reins and I'm going to drive it. I'm not going to let it drive me. I'm going to go this way. And when the feelings pull me this way of anger, of hurt, I'm going to drive it. I'm going to be something that's better. That I think I have accomplished the one thing I wanted to, and that is to say, you know what, let's do this. This is our lives. This is exactly what we want to do. And I want you to realize you can do it. If that's the only thing I can instill and telling you, you can do it. Fire Angel is a way of being alive. And being alive is being engaged in life. And it is that force for good, and it is incredibly fun. If you're not enjoying your life, if you're not having fun, if you're not really being in the moment, then you're missing out, guys. You really are. I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. And for all of those who have watched me in my class, I want to say I really care. And if you could get that from that class, I really mean it. I said in the class, and the parents may not know this, but I said, someday if I get to meet you, I want to. And you're going to find out that I really do care. And all those things I said, all those things that I pushed you to understand, all those uncomfortable moments where I said, get out of yourselves and deal with yourself. I mean it because I care, and I love you. And that is the secret to my life. I love the Creator's kids. I just do. That means I love every single one of you. And you may not like that, and you may be uncomfortable with that, but that is the truth. And I really, really care. So now we're going to have the opportunity to go out and do our meet and greet. But before that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this moment with me. Thank you.